Okay, how to get a cheap tri-bar headlight mount system for basically under $1. This is so this is two things here. The center part of this, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and you ask for a 5-inch threaded PVC nipple, you'll get something like this. This is actually 4-inch. I cut it down, and I took an old inner tube, put a little olive oil on the outside of this and stretched the inner tube over the cut down PVC, and then I cut the inner tube off like maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch longer, and then that can just be stuffed down in the inside of the tube. Gives you a nice, little bit of a cleaner look, but anyhow, it it keeps the edges off, and the inner tube gives me a little wider diameter, which gives me a little firmer grip with my headlight mount, and also it keeps the, I don't think the PVC is going to really scratch my aerobars, but I thought, why take the chance? And also I was concerned there might be some chatter. I didn't want to listen to that, so I just put that on there. So yeah, doesn't look great, and if you can imagine, just the aerobars going to run on either side of this, and then I just lash it with some whatever I got, either paracord or twine. I'm using twine right now. I'll take it down and put it on the bike and show you what it looks like when it's hooked up with the light on it, but it's very simple. Now, it doesn't look great. I don't think you would want to ride around with your buds, well, maybe with your buds, but it's not the greatest looking thing ever. But most of the time when I'm training triathlon, number one, it's early in the morning, which is why I need the light. I'm by myself, and nobody's really going to see me, so I'm not going to I spend a lot of time looking for mounts for my tri-bike. It's kind of difficult to get a light on there, not a lot of room on the aerobars, and it's just sort of an unusual geometry. So I'm not going to say there's nothing out there. There's plenty of stuff out there, but it's all ridiculously priced. And it's basically this, right? It's this with maybe a little fancier mounting system with a couple of screws, and for that you pay like $35-40. So I thought, what am I doing here? I don't know that I can do better than that, but I can do from the utility of the device. It's the exact same function. It just doesn't quite look as much and doesn't quite look as good. And it costs this. I'm not lying. This cost me less than $2, probably, maybe even less than $1. I think it was about $1 for the plus taxes for the component at Lowe's, and then this is just an old inner tube, so plus the twine. So not very much, and this gets the job done. So anyhow, I'll go put it on the bike and show you what it looks like on the bike. Here's what it looks like on the bike. Now, is it pretty? No, it's not pretty. It's strictly a functional thing, completely utilitarian. I've got this tied on here just with some twine. Obviously, on a black bike, that looks not so good. You can pick better things. I picked the twine. It's biodegradable, cheap. I ride mostly in the mornings. This triathlon is an individual sport. I probably would not elect to have this gizmo on here if I was riding in a group. But if you're riding in a group, you usually don't need the light anyhow, and you're not going to be on your tri-bike. So the knots, I hesitate to call these knots. It's just a square lashing. You can look that up on YouTube and find all sorts of videos. Just look up square lashing, or maybe Japanese square lashing. And then it's just finished off with just compression knots. So there's no knot in this, but it's sturdy. I mean, it's not going to come off of there. But just the same, because it's just a square lashing with compression knots, if you want to take it off, it's like it's a 30-second ordeal to get that thing off of there. But yeah, just simple, effective, cheap, less than $1, never wears out. Not aero, but you're training, so who cares? Gets the job done.